Clout Convo, an open dialogue about internet popularity and IG marketing. Today we have a special guest, Sheron Barber, fashion designer, innovator, and business owner of DR14. So I just want to thank you for being here, man, first off.
Thanks for having me.
And I wanted to ask you, what is Clout to you? What is Clout?
I feel like receiving credit or receiving accolades, I don't have a problem with Clout. I think Clout is just being accredited.
Yeah.
I think is they making stuff in the shop in the back, so y'all might hear that. I think Clout is just being accredited for whatever you're doing. I think the bad spin on Clout is people like chasing Clout for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? I think if you're doing something, you're doing good work, and you want to be accredited or you want it to be known that you're putting that positive work into the atmosphere, then you should want Clout or to be recognized. So
a lot of people are doing a lot of different things to get Clout, to get people hooked onto their products. I want to know, like, what are some of the things you've seen that Clout has shaped in terms of the fashion industry today?
I think for me, I never really look at it from a Clout standpoint or what other designers may be doing. I'm constantly just trying to create a progressive product that like works with the user. And I feel like if you do that, the Clout will come in turn. Like people will see the product and they'll realize that there's a usefulness to it or a need for it. And as a result of a product being good and being designed well, the Clout will come as a result of that. People identify the product as just being a good product or something that pushes society forward or solves some kind of simple problem. For me, Instagram is like a vital tool because I feel like a lot of people downplay social media and its effectiveness, but I see social media as a vital tool. It gives me like a personal platform to connect with people all over the world instantly at my desire. I don't have to take out a magazine ad. I don't have to be on someone else's platform. I could develop my platform, find people who appreciate my content, and then I could communicate with them instantly on a global level. So for me, it's just, doing what I do, creating cool content, and then just hoping that people that can relate to the content I produce find me and then tune in.
A lot of your posts contain like your own like life philosophies or you dropping knowledge about your work ethic or your views on like aesthetic and stuff like that. Can you talk about like the importance you feel about education through social media?
I mean, I think education through social media is like a huge thing. I think for social media is new. Like it's this new thing that we are all experiencing and learning how to use. Traditional media has been around pretty much forever, and we've learned different ways to use that to market and to manipulate or to move our product. Social media is new, and social media marketing is even more new. So I think every day we find new ways to like communicate with the consumer or communicate with the follower through social media.
Do you ever think about like the way future generations are using Instagram like currently?
I'm a real person. I'm from the hood. I grew up doing all kinds of hood stuff. Some stuff I'm proud of, some stuff I'm not proud of. So it's important to me to try my best to be relatable, but to be like somewhat of a positive role model. And to try to show other people, particularly younger generations, how to use the platform successfully, how to be positive, how to promote love, how to share, just love, like the frequency of love, like wanting to help each other, wanting to push society forward as a whole.
Well, I mean, your story in particular, coming from Camden and like working your way up through the fashion industry, it's really inspiring, I think. Do you think like with IG you were able to like tell your story and kind of create an original narrative that people are kind of like captivated with?
Right, like every day you can rewrite your narrative with social media.
Yeah.
So I remember telling a friend, I look at social media or IG almost like you have your own TV show.
Yeah.
And most TV shows have like different aspects or different forms of narrative that lead or that drive the theme of the show. And I've tried to set my IG up in a way where like I drive like multiple themes like fashion, artisanship, positivity. I try to incorporate all those things into my channel.
So it's not just fashion then, it's a lot of different things for you.
I think it's who I am. Like, I'm into fashion, but I also try to be like a positive person. I'm also into like handmade things and stuff being like quality.
Yeah.
I enjoy quality. I think I used to watch like how things are made, like shows like how things are made. I'm intrigued by stuff like that, so I assume that other people will probably be intrigued at having like an inside look into like how things are made. So I try to show that on my show or my IG channel. So up here, we pretty much brainstorm, talk about what we like, pick apart aesthetics, and figure out the angle that we want to take. From there, we come up with like a direction for the overall look. So this is Danny, our master craftsman. Yep. He's been making bags since he was 6 months old. This is one of my favorite bags. This is actually already available, called a CT utility duffel. So if you take a simple bag like this, which is a lanyard, you can take this lanyard off. You can remove these straps.
Oh, that's crazy.
I strive to be like a utility luxury brand. Everything we do, we keep utility and functionality and just like what a person goes through day to day in mind in all of our designs. So like something as simple as this is like, oh, it's an attachment, but if I'm traveling, you know, I may be carrying this bag and I'm taking a trip, but then I get there and once I set up camp, you know, I want to take this bag off and then wear it around my neck because I don't need my entire duffel anymore. So I'm thinking of like progressive ways like that to push design forward and make it more useful for the consumer.
Going to your brand, DR14, I'm saying that right, DR14 or is
Yes.
it Divine Right 14?
It's DR14.
DR14.
The DR is an abbreviation for Divine Right.
Right.
So the first bag I ever made, I didn't have a name for the brand. I was creating a bag for a friend, and he just wanted like the all-be-all bag. He wanted it to be like the most luxurious bag, and you know, I started using all the what I thought were the highest end materials I could find. I used like mink and gator, and I imported wood, and I made him this extraordinary bag. And at the time, I felt like I was sourcing the rarest and most luxurious materials from all over the world. And I was like, wow, this bag is really suited for a king. So then I started figuring like, I'm gonna name the bag, not necessarily the brand, but I was gonna name the bag. So I decided that it was like a travel bag, and I felt like it was like divine in nature. So I decided to name the bag the Divine Traveler. So then I dug a little deeper and I researched like who were like the greatest monarchs of all time, and I stumbled upon Louis XIV. And the thing that intrigued me with Louis XIV, it was a few things that intrigued me with Louis XIV, but for one, he took the throne at the age of 5 and was king until the age of 72. So he was actually a monarch for 67 years. So because of that, he was very creative, or his creativity was very childlike, because he would use the resources of the nation to put together like these plays or to have things built. So then he later in his time as king, he commissioned the Versailles to be built,
Right.
which to date is probably one of the most beautiful feats, one of the most beautiful things ever created. He flew in artists from all over the world. He used materials from all over the world, and he created what is still to date one of the most beautiful pieces of architecture ever created. He almost took the country into bankrupt doing it, but which is pretty much what I had done trying to make this bag. My earlier bags all had XIVs embossed into the back, so that's why I put the XIV to commemorate Louis XIV. I later felt like with these bags, if I made a bag for someone, it was because they were a king, in whatever their right may be, whether it be LeBron James, who's the king of basketball, or Michael Jackson being the king of pop, or the actual king of a country, or just a person that's successful in their own right and they're a king. I wanted the owner of the bag to have that feeling, and I discovered a doctrine called the Divine Right of Kings. Louis XIV was a huge advocate of the Divine Right of King, which is a document that gives kings hierarchy over the people. So I ended up naming the brand Divine Right because the ownership of the possession was like a divine right. It was like taking ownership of divinity. And the XIV to commemorate Louis XIV. And that's when I decided to abbreviate that, I just made it DR14, which is a more tactical application.
I'd like to show you a few pictures through a laptop and get your take on some important figures that may have inspired you to your point today. And so, first photo I wanted to show you is this man right here. Who's this guy right here?
Oh, e-sah.
Yeah, can you explain a little bit about who e-sah is?
e-sah is amazing, man. I love e-sah. We actually just met probably about 6 months ago, and he's a very strong-willed person, and he says what he wants, and that's what I love about him. It might turn some people off, but that's what I love about him. He's gonna say how he feels every time. And so the way I started making the bags that were like Goyard or Louis Vuitton, I originally said I will never use another brand within my brand. It was something I refused to do because as a designer, I wanted it to be all about my designs.
Yeah.
And I had a guy who flew in and he said, I need you to make me a custom bag and we're gonna fly in. Can you make it out of any material? And I said, sure. So when he came, I'm thinking he was gonna bring like Stingray or Gator or some kind of rare leather. And when he got here, he had these brand new Goyard bags that he wanted me to cut up. And I'm like, he was like, I want you to cut these and I want you to make one of your bags out of these. So I was like, something I didn't really want to do, but I did it because he had flown all the way out here. He had already bought the bags. You couldn't take them back.
Right.
And I cut up a Goyard and I made one of my signature chest rigs and like, it went viral.
Wow.
And in that going viral, a lot of people started to tag me on e-sah's page and they started to tag e-sah on my page. And people started asking me like, hey, can you make me a Goyard lighter? Can you make me a Goyard lighter?
Right.
Like you made the chest rig. And I'm like, sure, I can make you a Goyard lighter because I do custom work.
Yeah.
And I actually took an order to make 50 lighters for somebody, and I soon found out that this guy named e-sah had already been producing these lighters. And when I seen that, I told the guy, nah, I won't make the lighters, just buy them from the guy e-sah because he does really good lighters, and it seems like that's his thing. And through people tagging us, me and e-sah ended up having a conversation. We ended up having a meeting, and we just clicked. I thought he was a real dude, and we decided to collaborate, and ever since then we've been close friends.
Next one, talk about
Alyx. I love Alyx as a designer. I think a lot of people have kind of tried to put us against each other. I'm inspired by his designs. The way I came across Alyx, similar situation, internet. So I'm a little older, obviously. So I wasn't I wasn't familiar with Alyx. I had designed this bag based on a bulletproof vest, and I had a bulletproof vest in my closet. Don't ask me why. And my girlfriend, she kept saying, can you take that off of there because it was making the closet shelf bow. So I was like, I don't want to throw it in the trash. I took the plates out of it, and I put the vest on, and I'm like running around the house. And then she didn't realize it was the same vest, and she said, did you make that? Is that one of your bags? And I was like, nah, this is the bulletproof vest you was telling me to throw in the trash. And she was like, oh, that looked dope. And I was just like, I'm gonna make a scaled down version of this and make a bag out of it. So I took it to the shop, I scaled it down, and I was like, it's masculine, it looks like a bulletproof vest. I feel like men, especially in urban culture, we have this thing where they make bags seem feminine, like, oh, it's a purse or a merce, or. So I always wanted to create bags that were masculine in nature, and because this looked like a bulletproof vest, I was like, it's completely masculine, and it leaves your hands free, you don't have to take it on and off, it's perfect. So I made one, and I started putting them on people that I knew, and then as it became more popular, people started tagging this brand Alyx, and they would say, oh, this looks like an Alyx, or people would tag me on the Alyx and say, oh, this looks like a Sheron Barber. It's two totally different things. I understand the competitiveness though.
Yeah.
But so that at that moment, from people tagging, the same way I discovered e-sah, I discovered Alyx, and since then I follow his design and his work.
Yeah.
And I think what he's doing for fashion is amazing.
Yeah.
I think he thinks we think alike.
Yeah.
He's very utilitarian in his approach. A lot of his designs are very progressive, and that's what I'm all about.
Speaking lastly on this guy right here,
Virgil.
and also, you know, how, you know, speak on streetwear and high-end kind of mixing.
I love Virgil's work. He's done so much for like people like me. I think people like all of us. He's taken streetwear to the forefront, putting a luxury approach on streetwear, taking a luxury approach to streetwear. And then the crazy thing with Virgil, and I say this all the time, is like his social approach to design is what makes him a designer that I really appreciate. Like he has the ability to just make things cool. Like he just makes things cool, and he does it through like his social skills as a person. And I feel like he also gives off this really great aura and vibe of like love and progression and bringing people together. What he did at Nike is amazing. Off-White is amazing, and what he's doing at Louis Vuitton is amazing. I'm looking forward to see what he does, and I feel like he opened the door for like a whole culture of people to now walk through, because now they see and they appreciate hip hop on that level, and he's the first person to really like break completely through that door, and I appreciate him for that.
I really appreciate the time, man. This has been Clout Convo with Sheron Barber. I'm Saky, and this has been a really great conversation, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Peace.
Take it easy, guys. All right, hi.